What's on the news?
If there's homosexual men, the punishment is one of 5 things.
Oh. Okay.
One, the easiest one may be
Talking it out?
chop their head off.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Okay.
That's the easiest.
Maybe there are other options.
Easiest is very
Let's
easy.
hear them out.
Second, burn them to
Okay,
death.
well,
Well, it's almost worse.
Third, throw them off a cliff.
This just seems like a
Trying to find a cliff.
Fourth, tear down a wall on them so they die on
Oh, I'm noticing a pattern
It's
here.
destructive.
maybe 5 is good.
Fifth,
Let's wait.
a combination of the above.
Really recommend it. There are a lot of people who are converting. There's a lot of people who are reading it. I'm not saying I'm going to convert. I'm not saying that I wouldn't.
I was really surprised watching Seth Meyers, I don't know, several nights ago, maybe four or 5 nights ago, when he made a comment about how the protests on Columbia and other college campuses have not been violent. Does anyone know that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence and Tyler Perry and blah blah blah? It's called Don't Look Up. Oh right, Meryl Streep plays the president. Know what that movie has in common with reality? Everything. You could choose to not believe a comet is hurtling itself towards Earth, and in about 30 days, we're all gonna die. You could choose to not believe anything you're hearing. You could choose not to look up. You could choose to look up. And if, God forbid, you do look up, you will see the truth. And the truth is people are deranged to a level that has become dangerous and really put on display, I should say, this madness, the madness of crowds, to quote the brilliant Mr. Douglas Murray. It's madness. That's all this is. So what's happening is something that, while it is very simple, it's more complicated, because anyone who wakes up today and is like a Rip Van Winkle, and like this one comedian said at one point, like, oh, so you're just you're catching on to the show, you're watching the sitcom at this stage at like season 3. Yeah, well, you could break it up into seasons. The last 75 to 100 or so years of Israeli and Palestinian history, I think this is really telling, though. And one of the interesting things you discover when you look at this situation is the following, and that is Islam, with all that it has to offer adherents, has for the last 1400 years existed under a very specific foundational argument, which is the idea that one specific individual was a prophet and directly spoke with God, Allah, and whatever was then transmitted, he then transmitted to the people, the followers, adherents, and so forth. And so as a result, you have what has become a very, shall we say, corrupted faith. Now, the faith itself still remains. It actually has Judeo-Christian roots, whether the extremists would like to admit or not, but that's just the reality. Of course, a lot of these people do not, as you can see, like to live in reality. They live in La La Land. Okay. Now, you can waste money at a school, and you can get arrested, and you can perhaps at the worst jeopardize your ability to obtain employment upon graduation, blah de blah de blah. But the point is, once it starts affecting other people's lives, as a collective society, as a nation, majority of whom, at least 80%, believe that Israel does have the right to exist, you know, once you're actually impacting other people's lives, they're not going to tolerate it. They're not going to tolerate it, and so you will become the intolerable parasite that you put on display every day when you stage these silly protests and build encampments with money that you should be spending on other resources, like the next textbook that I know have to pay probably $200 for your class coming up in the summer or fall semester. So good luck with the intifadas. I wish you all the best.